never made it, but I know what it takes. I'm motivated by a mix of emotion. Got my statement, and I'm reading it slow so I can understand it fully. Appreciate my standing, go out of this world and right on time. Oh, never in my life have I seen the sky light up like this. I'm far away from Earth and I wanna know if you exist. Mission control, do you read me? Send me my coordinates lately. Mission control, am I drifting? Tie me to someone who will love me, yeah. Wait, I think I'll last a bit longer. Fine.
Welcome everyone. Welcome everyone. Welcome everyone to another Ref Brandon and the Todd family YouTube video. Wherever you are, whatever you may be doing, thank you so much for making Ref Brandon and the Todd family a part of your day. We always greatly appreciate it. I want to start out today's video by saying thank you to SCA Wrestling in Royston, Georgia. SCA, by the way, stands for Squared Circle Action. They allowed me to come be one of their referees last night for one of their bigger shows called Pick Your Poison. And of course, I thoroughly enjoyed it. And tonight, I'm back in the ring again at 244 Livestock Road, East Denali, Georgia, for SWA Wrestling. Doors open at 6 o'clock and bell time will be 7 o'clock. But today here on the channel, I want to talk some NASCAR. First of all, I want to say that it's looking more and more like Kaulig Racing is going to sell their charter, which pretty much means they'll be out of the Cup Series. If they do that, they still have their Xfinity car, and it's very, very competitive. AJ Allmendinger may end up winning the Xfinity Series championship this year. If not, I'm sure he'll be one of the final four or at least final eight. But why Kaulig Racing is putting so much stock into the Xfinity Series and not the Cup Series, I don't know. But when they came in a few years back, they came in guns a-blazing, and they looked like they were going to be a force to be reckoned with. And then last year, Justin Haley, who actually won the first ever race for Kaulig Racing in the Cup Series, announced he was leaving Kaulig Racing to go to Rick Ware Racing. And everybody thought he was crazy because last year when it happened, Kaulig Racing was a much bigger and better team than Rick Ware Racing. But now a year later, it looks like Justin Haley made the right decision. So Kaulig Racing's days and the Cup Series might be coming to an end. And also, next year, the Xfinity Series was supposed to move to the CW network, but it was supposed to start next year. But it's actually going to start this year. It was announced either yesterday or Thursday that the Xfinity Series will move over to CW the final 8 races of this year. But the only thing that's going to be different about it is that it's going to be on the CW. They're moving the 3 TV broadcasters from NBC over to CW, so it's going to seem like it's NBC because it's the same broadcasters. I do not know what kind of graphics CW is going to have, and we do not know yet who will be their normal play-by-play guy, or lap-by-lap guy, if you want to call it that, on the CW network once it moves there, because this year they're going to use the NBC guys. Now, there's a chance that the NBC guy ends up going over to the CW network, but of course that hasn't happened as of yet. So the Xfinity Series is moving to CW this year, their final 8 races of the season. and it's looking like the Xfinity Series is leaving. And I believe that's one of the reasons why they're going to go ahead and move the series over to CW to go ahead and get it out of the way, see how the technological side looks, see how they carry the race so that NASCAR can focus on getting a new sponsor for their middle tier series, as I like to call it, because you have the trucks, Xfinity, and Cup. Of course, when I first started watching NASCAR, it was the Busch series, and then it was Nationwide, and now it is Xfinity, and it's looking like this will be the final year of the Xfinity series. Now, this week's action on the track is already underway with Kyle Busch winning the truck race at Texas last night, but we still have the Xfinity Series race coming up later on today. 1:30 p.m. Eastern Time is the start time, and of course we have the Cup race tomorrow, also from Texas. And speaking of Kyle Busch, I watched an interview earlier in the week, and Kyle Busch talked about when his son gets 18, he is going to retire. His son is now 10 years old, so it's looking like about 2033 will be the end of the greatest NASCAR driver of all time, at least on a full-time basis. He said he wants to race his son one-on-one in the Truck Series and then race his son one-on-one in the Xfinity Series when he's 15, 16 years old. And then when his son gets 18 and can make it to Cup, then Kyle's going to hang it up and go to the house. But last weekend at Martinsville, we saw William Byron get his third win of the season already, followed by Kyle Larson, Chase Elliott, Darrell Wallace Jr., and Ryan Blaney. And we saw Joey Logano, Tyler Reddick, Alex Bowman, Ryan Preece, and Chase Briscoe round out the top 10. So Stuart Haas got two drivers in the top 10 with Ryan Preece and Chase Briscoe. And then NASCAR came out, I believe it was on Tuesday, and admitted that they have a short track problem because the three short track races this year have been below standard. And I don't really know what the issue is because we have what they're still calling the next gen car, but I can't call it that because you're using it. How is it next gen when it's current gen? But anyway, they're calling it the next gen car, and the car works on speedways. It works on super speedways. It works on any kind of regular oval. It works on road courses. But on short tracks, it sucks. So you can't really have one car designed for short tracks and another car designed for every other track, especially this day and time when NASCAR is cutting back on the money that they're allowing the teams to spend. Back in the day, each driver would have, 5, 6, 7 backup cars. Now each driver has 2, maybe 3 backup cars. So you can't waste one of your backup cars just for a race at a short track. But something has to be done. I can remember watching Bristol and Martinsville when I was in school, and it would take 4.5 hours to run the race because there was so many cautions from guys trying to pass each other, and the racetrack just wasn't wide enough, wasn't big enough. But when I was in school, Martinsville was 500 laps. Now it's 400, and last week's race still got finished in less than 3 hours, and that was with an overtime finish. So that tells you how much things have changed on the short tracks, and they just got to figure out what the reason is. Why this car is not working on short tracks, I don't know, but it's not. I believe, if memory serves, Martinsville last week had 5 cautions, I think. It may have just been 4, and that's including the stage ends. So you had 2 or 3 cautions outside of the stage ends, and that is pathetic at a short track race. Bristol was about the same, and then Richmond is a short track, but it's never had the action that Bristol does, and never had the action that Martinsville does. Any thoughts on any of this, please feel free to let me know. Let's go ahead and get our dad joke of the day in here. What's the difference between boogers and broccoli? Kids don't eat broccoli. And that does it for today's Ref Brandon and the Todd Family YouTube video. Until next time, it's Ref Brandon saying, just like in pro wrestling, life can be over by the count of 3. Tell your friends and family how much you love them. Bye.